homework from last week that we had was the writing assignment over here where we had to create a story based on the setting that you described for the magical underwater kingdom. So remember your answers that you use when answering the magical underwater kingdom writing activity. So make sure to use back those answers when you are creating your story. So you would also create some problems that the main character or characters, plural, would face. All right, so I see one person has sent in their answer. Thank you, Serena. So you can read out loud your answer, Serena.
My magical kingdom takes place in 2640. The weather is mostly sunny and rains once a while. My friend Alina and I live in my kingdom. There is always a villain named Joe near my kingdom who wants to take the treasure in my kingdom. My relatives also live with me. One day when I was sleeping, Joe crept into my room and sneakily stole some of my treasure. The next day I woke up and I noticed that my treasure was gone and I was furious. Alina and I wanted to kill Joe, so we went to Joe's house and we fought and fought until Joe's head fell off. Everybody rejoiced and they lived happily ever after.
Okay, thank you, Serena. Very good story, good reading voice, and good reading pace. So I think some advice would be that, for example, when your last sentence over here where you mention everybody rejoiced and they lived happily ever after. But if you are referring to yourself as well as Alina or Elena, then you would say we lived happily ever after. Just because in the previous sentence you said we, so just keeping the same pronoun for the last sentence, you should replace they with we. But otherwise, very nicely done. All right, so if anyone else has their answers and would like to read them out loud, you can send in your answers in the group chat directly to me. Yes, Elaine?
Try to read mine out loud, but I didn't send it in the group chat.
Okay, yes, that's fine, Elaine. You can read yours out loud.
It is in the 1800s, and in the undersea is 1800. No. Welcome to Seafish International School. There is a large crowd of people over there. What are they doing? Asked Mermaid Siki. I think there is a curse over there, replied Ruby the Narrow. Let's go and see. What happened? Said Siki. On there. Oh, there is a lot of painting in the door of the school. Maybe we can be a detective to find out who made this stuff. Let's see some. So they find for some clues. Let's see what we find out. It is all black and white, and it has all letter O on it. When they follow the track of painting, they find out that it was their new friend, Octree. Cici and Ruby told the president of the city of Corndy. It was Octopus Octree. Octree said sorry to the president and decided to make celebration for her arts. She found she found them about she told them about her paintings, and all of the town people clapped for her.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. Very good reading pace. I would just say to adjust your reading pace so that you have your sentences connect to the one afterwards and the one before. So make sure that your reading pace is more flowing well together. So not as much pauses or stops. Try your best for correcting that. But otherwise, very detailed story. I also like how you gave some expressions for each character. So they had reactions to certain events or to other people's words. So nicely done, including that. So that would be some advice that I would give for your answer. Okay, so if anyone else wants to read out loud, you can let me know. No? Okay, so I see no other answers, no other people raising their hands to volunteer to read out loud. So I'll continue on to today's lesson. Oh, yes, Brady.
I think I said this in the other class.
Oh, wait. What did you say in the other class?
I think in the last class I already said something like this.
Ah, okay. Yes. Thank you, Brady. Okay, so looking at the past homework, we've already covered this. So going on to the recommended book and author that I have for today, which is Dogtown by Catherine Applegate. So you've also heard of, I think, the one and only Ivan, and that is a very popular book. So if you've heard of that and maybe you've read that and you enjoyed that book, this is also by the same author, so you can check this book out. And of course, we have a brief overview of the book over here. So could I get Wesley? Can you read this paragraph here? I'll read the first half. Yeah.
Dogtown is a shelter for stray dogs, misbehaving dogs, and discarded robot dogs whose owners have outgrown them. Change a real dog chance has a real dog has been in the Dogtown since her owner unwittingly left her with irres-
Irresponsible?
irresponsible dog sitters who skip town.
Yes. Thank you, Wesley. Very good voice that you have reading out loud. So it was clear and you also enunciated, so very good pronunciation. Just be careful on, of course. You also pronounce unwittingly correctly, so very good job pronouncing it, as well as catching your correction on chance. So yes, it has a C here, so it would be chance and not change. Change would have a G instead of a C over here. Okay, so also just be careful of this word, irresponsible. So we have the IR included as the prefix before responsible. So that makes it a negative responsible, so not responsible, as well as misbehaving. So just be careful of this word, misbehaving, meaning, here we're also having a prefix of mis, and in this case, it also means the opposite of behaving, so not behaving. So misbehaving. Sometimes you might say misbehave for not behave, or you might have an IR prefix for some words such as responsible and irresponsible. Okay, so moving on to the next part, could I get Donnie to read this part over here?
Metalhead is a robot dog who dreams of being back in a real home, and Mouse is a mouse who has the run of Dogtown. pilfering kibble, and performing clever feats to protect the dogs he loves. When Chance and Meadowhead embark on an adventure to find their forever homes, there's danger, cheese sandwiches, a charging station, and some unexpected kindness along the way.
Yes, great job, Donnie. Good, clear reading voice. Just be careful of the endings of some words, such as over here, kindnesses, just because it has an extra ES over here, so just be careful of that. But otherwise, as well as sandwiches, so the ES. But otherwise, very good pronunciation. Okay, so for some people that aren't sure of some of the words here, I've highlighted and bolded them, and these are going to be our three vocab words, but for this additional word, in case people don't know, feats, it's a noun and it's referring to an achievement that requires great courage, skill, or strength. So, kind of like a goal that you've accomplished that required a lot of courage, skill, or strength. As an example, the new printing presses were considerable feats of engineering, meaning that the printing machines were considerable or very significant or important feats of engineering. Okay, so next up we have is the overview of the author. So for this paragraph, could I get Jin Yi? Can you read this paragraph?
Class 7 Appellate is the author of the one and only event winner of the 2013 Newbery Medal. Her novel Crenshaw spent over 20 weeks on the New York Times Children's Bestseller list, and her first middle grade stand-alone novel, the award-winning Home of the Brave, continues to be included on state reading list, summer reading list, and class reading list.
Yes, great job, Jinny. Thank you for reading out loud. Good reading pace, good clear voice, and good pronunciation on words. So just be careful of, for example, this name is pronounced as Ivan. So instead of Ivan, it would be Ivan. So think of it kind of like a I instead of an A for the pronunciation here. Okay, and also good job pronouncing Crenshaw and the Newbery Medal. All right, so moving on to the second paragraph over here. Can I get Allison to read this paragraph?
Catherine has written three picture books: The Buffalo Storm, The Remarkable True Story of Ivan, The Shopping Mall Gorilla. After use a companion book, The One and Only Ivan, for younger readers. And Sometimes You Fly, published in spring 2018. For beginning reader, Catherine wrote Roscoe Riley Rules, a 7-book series.
Yes, great job, Allison. Good, clear voice. So just make sure that you're enunciating all of the syllables of the words. So just like how you did for some words, nice job pronouncing Ivan, shopping mall, gorilla. So just be careful to enunciate and make sure you're pronouncing all of the syllables of the word. So beginning, so just making sure you get them all. Okay, next up that we have is the last part over here, last two lines. Could I get Brady to read those two lines?
With her husband, Michael Grant, Catherine co-wrote Animorphs, our long-running series that has sold over 35 million books worldwide. Catherine lives in Marin County, California with her family and assorted pets.
Yes, great job, Brady. Good, clear voice. All right, so moving on to the vocabulary words that I have here. So these are the 3 words that I have, and oh no. Okay, so first up we have is unwittingly, which is an adverb meaning without being aware. So maybe doing something unwittingly. So you're not aware of it or you didn't mean to do this. As an example sentence, many users unwittingly expose their personal details to strangers online. So here it's saying that a lot of people or a lot of internet users unwittingly or by unintentionally expose their personal details to strangers. Pilfering, which is a verb meaning to steal. So you're stealthily taking a fruit or an object from something or somewhere. As an example, she produced the handful of coins she had managed to pilfer. So it's just another word for steal. And lastly, we have embark, which is a verb. So you can define it 2 ways. As first, definition is going on board a ship, aircraft, or other vehicle. So you're embarking on this or you're going onto this vehicle or transport system, or it could also mean began a course of action, especially one that is important or demanding. So, for example, you can say you're beginning a journey or beginning an adventure. So, you might say, I am embarking upon this quest or this adventure. Okay. And here are some example sentences that are included. So he embarked for India in 1817. So meaning he began a journey for India in 1817. Or over here, its passengers were ready to be embarked, meaning its passengers were ready to be let on board the vehicle or aircraft. And lastly, he embarked on a new career, meaning he began a new career. All right, so this brings me to the question of the day that I have here, which is what are the responsibilities of owning a pet? For example, a dog, just like how we mentioned about all these different types of dogs over here. So, would you want to own a dog? As well as how would you persuade your parents to let you have a dog? So here we have some persuasive writing for these last 2 sentences or this last question over here. And then the first are using some descriptive answers over here. So let me put this all into the group chat. I'll give everyone some time to think of their answers as well as type them up and send it into the group chat. So of course, any questions, feel free to let me know. You can answer or put your questions in the group chat or raise your hand to let me know. All right. So of course, try to include 1 to 3 of these vocab words. If you can't include any at all, that's okay. Make sure that your writing is very detailed and has at least 5 sentences. Okay, I'll give everyone some time right now. All right, so 5 minutes have passed, everyone. If you can all finish up your writing, wrap it up, and send it to me in the group chat, that would be great. Does everyone need more time, or is everyone able to send in their answers? Thank you, Brady, for sending in your answer. And everyone else, start wrapping up your answers, sending them in. Okay, so looking at Brady's over here. So great start off sentence addressing the main responsibilities or one of them. So here, unwillingly, or you mean to say unwittingly. So we this unalive it. So unalive, although you might see this word a lot in social media, in maybe, for example, TikTok or Instagram, it's not actually a word. It's just a word that people, or just the mashup of a word that people create to say not alive, so that instead of saying dead or killing it, just because these words are actually banned from TikTok or Instagram. And so if these words do show up in videos, that gets the video taken down. So that's why people say unalive when they want to say kill or murder or such. So they just say unalive so that TikTok or social media doesn't flag their videos and take it down. But the proper actual word would be killing. So here we're saying if you unwittingly kill, or in this case, kill, not killing, but kill it when you feed it something, then it is your fault and it is unfortunate. Yes. So don't forget the commas anytime you have conditional statements of if or when. Also, if your pet just embarks into the outside, nicely done with embark over here. And then runs, flies, in this case would be IES. And of course, again with if statements, always have a comma. And then here you can say, why is it bad? So you can explain more in details, giving some examples or further sentences to show why it's bad. If you have multiple pets. So here you're talking about don't let one pet pilfering. Pilfering is the act of stealing. So instead of just saying steal, you're stealing. So you're actively doing that word. But here you're saying don't let, so in the future, do not let this one animal or one person steal. So without the ing, since it's not actively doing that action. So in this case, it would just be don't let one pet pilfer another pet's food. And remember, since it is food possessive to or belonging to this pet or this subject, we have to include the apostrophe. Okay, does anyone else have their writing ready? So does anyone else have their sentences that they can send in to the group chat? So it's okay if you don't have 5 to 7 sentences, just wrap up whatever sentences you do have. So even if it's only 2 or if it's only 3 sentences, you can just still send them in to me. So Allison, Donnie, Ginny, Evane, Serena, Wesley, do you all have your sentences ready? And then for Brady, so great job mentioning the responsibilities, but you can also answer the second and third question. Would you want to own a dog? How would you persuade your parents to let you have a dog if you do want one? So you can answer this question. So if you said yes to owning a dog, you can describe what are some ways to persuade your parents to let you have a dog? Or if you answered no, you don't want a dog, you can answer why you don't want a dog. So what are some reasons? Maybe you feel like it's a lot of responsibility or it's a lot of danger to other people if the dog is a very dangerous breed, maybe. Okay, thank you, Donnie. So here I'm assuming you meant to say pet bird. So here we don't have to use an apostrophe because here we're talking about its food. And in this case, because it's an object, this is a specific case, but we don't use apostrophe here when we're talking about it, the bird. We just say its food and water. So here you can say instead of I have to keep, I have to make sure. So you're saying make sure its food and water is enough. And then here, you can even make a new sentence and say, I would also have to make sure its body is clean and its living place. Clean and comfortable. Never unwittingly give it to somebody else for a short time because they may do bad things to the pet. Yes, great job, Donnie. So here you explained why it should be bad idea to give it to somebody else and using the vocabulary word unwittingly. Great job using the vocab word. Okay. So Allison, thank you for sending in your answer, as well as Serena. So here, who would you persuade? So remember, you're persuading your parents, so be specific. So I would persuade my parents. And what are you persuading them? So you have to, oh, so you mentioned it here to let me get a fish. So I'll just bold this. I would persuade my parent to let me, no need to say to again here, since you already mentioned here, to let me get a fish. By talking to parents that have a pet fish or that having a pet fish will make me feel happy. And then here you already don't need to mention talking to parents because whenever you say persuade, it is just another fancy way to say that you are talking to parents in a very convincing or persuasive manner, meaning that you are talking to parents or yeah, in this case, talking to parents to make them think a certain way or to make them agree with you. So no need to say talking to parents again over here. So you can just cut this part out and just say to get a fish that to let me get a fish. And then here, instead of saying that, we can just say because having a pet fish will make me feel happy. I will not unwittingly kill. Again, this is past tense here, so you're talking about future tense. So you will say, because will not is future tense. So here you will just say kill without the ed. Ed makes it a past tense word. And then you can also say, how would you unwittingly not kill the fish? So you can answer the how question by stating in more sentence, like, I will make sure to have a schedule so that I feed the fish on time and I don't overfeed it or underfeed it. And I will also make sure that I have the right temperature by using the thermometer to measure the temperature of the water, for example. So you can list out reasons or ways in which you would make sure that you're not unwittingly going to kill the fish. All right, looking at Serena. The answers over here. Yes, great job with the answers over here, starting off strongly. So here you can say, I probably want a dog because I can play with it, but I need to clean up its duties. You can say, instead of its duties, but I need to clean up after the dog. So meaning that you're cleaning up after the dog. So this can be after it gets dirty or after it's going outside to poo or pee. So you might have to clean up afterwards. Okay. My parents wouldn't let me. Oh, so remember, embark means to begin or to climb on board of something like an aircraft or a car. But in this case, you can't say embark a dog, meaning to climb a dog, so that doesn't make sense, or to begin a dog, so that also doesn't make sense. So you can't say embark over here. You can just say wouldn't let me get a dog because they think if you unwittingly feed him the wrong food, it will die. So great job including the word unwittingly. And remember, anytime you have if statements, you're always going to use a comma. I would give some money to my parents so they might buy me a dog. Okay, so good reasons, but I would like more details and to have you include examples. So maybe what are some examples of wrong food? Does it just mean the wrong type of dog food? Or does it mean feeding it dangerous food like chocolate? Okay, so thank you, Brady, for including more sentences. And of course, everyone else that haven't sent in their answers, please wrap up your sentences and send them in. And here where you say and also, you can include a comma here, since naturally when you're reading it out loud, you do have a little pause here. And usually after the word also, you can sometimes use a comma as well, just to indicate that there's a little small break in the sentence. All right, nice job, Brady, including why you would not get a dog. So I like how you included some reasons of having a dog and the downside of having a dog, so nicely done. Okay, so for everyone else, please send in your sentences if you haven't done so. Okay, so for everyone else, I'll just continue on to the next part for now, which is the narrative writing, specifically character development. So, anytime you're thinking of stories, fiction stories, or nonfiction stories, there will always be some sort of character development. All right, so character development is, for example, you'll have to, in narrative writing for character development, you'll try to include problems or maybe personalities of these characters throughout the book. So, in this type of writing, narrative writing, you'll be creating characters that are 3D, three-dimensional, meaning that we have to create these characters that are realistic and have backgrounds or their own personalities. So, if you don't create characters that have their own personalities or that have changes to them, you'll just be making them very two-dimensional. So, not really popping out, getting your attention, or making it very realistic. It looks more like something you would see very basically in a storybook or maybe in a picture book. So 3D is like what people see in real life, three-dimensional. 2D is like over here. This is what you see in 2D when something is on a flat piece of paper. So drawings on a flat piece of paper is 2D. Okay, so I'll include Evaine's answer. Thank you very much. I would persuade my parents to buy me a dog like this. So here, I think you meant to say I will walk it by myself. So I would learn more harder is not a word or doesn't make sense on its own like this. So instead we have to change it up and be replacing the word harder here. And I would learn, instead of more harder, you will say I will learn. Or instead of saying I would learn more harder, you would say I would continue to learn, meaning that you will keep learning and working towards a goal maybe. So continue to learn. Here, if they don't get angry, with an N.
I think I'm writing that they don't agree.
Ah, okay. So here, I think you meant to say please. And here, if you want to be specific, you can even use quotation marks here, like this, where you're saying directly a quote what you would say to your parents. I'm assuming you say I will cause. And it's for so here you can say instead of say okay if they would allow me to get a pet. So here you can say I would begin to pilfer dogs from the people that sell dogs. And I will ask for okay, so here you're saying I will ask for them unwittingly, but I won't ask for their unwittingly. So very confusing sentence because you have contradicting statements over here. So instead I would just say crossing this whole part out and just say and I would ask for where they live. I would ask for where and be specific. Who is they? Are you talking about the people that are selling the dogs or the dogs themselves? because remember, the dogs themselves may be separate in a separate location from the people that are selling these dogs. So here you can say specifically for where the dogs live. And then here you say lastly, I would give. Remember here with an A, it is past tense, but you're talking about future tense because you have would. So that means future tense. I would give my parents some of my money, spelled with E over here. So they might is spelled like this with GHT. Get me a dog. And then with a comma here, and if they did, I will. So here you can say take care of it. I will do my best to take care of it. Okay, so that finishes our sentences over there. Thank you, Jin Yi. So quickly adding in Jin Yi's sentences. The responsibility of having a dog pet. So here you can just say either one or the other, having a dog or a pet. In this case, since you're talking about dogs specifically, I would just say to cut out the pet and just say having a dog is to clean the dog and take the dog. So take the dog where? You have to be specific. Are you taking the dog outside to walk it? Or are you taking the dog to the shelter to give it away? So where? So mention that you are taking the dog to a specific location. Because if you just say take the dog, it seems unfinished. And then here you can also say, I would also make sure to not. So here you have to say make sure not let the dog run away, because if you say don't let the dog run away, it is more of a command that you're telling someone what to do, but you're not explaining your own actions or your own reasons. So instead, you would just rephrase it to use something like this to make it more personal. And then here, instead of saying and maybe, you can say because. Because maybe the animal would be pilfered, as in would be stolen, and unwittingly killed by a stronger animal. So very good job using unwittingly over here, Jinyi, as well as pilfered. Very nicely done. For a walk, okay. So here you're saying, I'll take the dog for a walk, I'm assuming. So very good job using pilfered and unwittingly over here. All right, so coming back to the lesson plan. So first off, backgrounds of their own personalities, making sure that we develop characters, we make them more realistic. So give them some flaws. Don't make them perfect at the beginning of the story, especially. Because if you make them completely perfect, they don't seem realistic because no person is completely perfect. Okay, so moving on. Why is it important to have character development? If your character is stagnant, so not moving or changing, there is no story, period. The importance of having your character grow from the beginning till the end of your novel or writing, it's as important to your story as making sure that your characters have strong goals and motivations. For example, this means that when you're creating your characters and your storyline, even if your characters are very well thought out and they seem very realistic, so maybe they're experiencing the same troubles as someone your age would experience, so it seems, oh, they seem like a real person. It seems like this can be someone I find in my classroom. But their goals or their problems that they're facing are very small and not really important. Maybe it could be something like, oh no, Sam has to choose between buying the blue colored running shoes or the pink colored running shoes. and he is very confused or very troubled as to which pair of shoes he should buy because he wants to get the blue pair of shoes, but the blue pair of shoes is more expensive. So this problem is overall not very important, not very interesting to hear about or to read about, and also can be solved very quickly. So this can be just solved by saying like, oh, you can just save up more money, or oh, just go to another store, another company to buy shoes. You don't have to buy those two pairs of shoes. You can choose other pairs of shoes. So again, this problem isn't interesting or very realistic. Okay, so next up, without change or growth in a character, the character doesn't seem real. It may also be boring to read about the same character who doesn't do anything different. So again, also same thing, if you read about the same types of characters, maybe the character is also always facing the same type of problems in each book of the series. So they're always facing like, oh no, my parents are dying from cancer. Oh, and then suddenly at the end they got saved and they found a cure for the cancer. But in the next book, oh no, they also have cancer again. So it's also same problems. So it might not be as interesting to the reader to read about because they already know, okay, you already have this solution. You can just do this solution again to solve the problem. Well-developed characters engage the audience, so they interest the audience by showing their growth and motivations, making the story more compelling and memorable. So we're going to create characters with depth, meaning that these characters are very deep and they're not shallow. Character traits are the key elements of a character's personality. In the writing activity that we're going to do, students create interesting characters through Q&A format, so question and answer format. All right, so the character development over here, we're going to read the character description given over here, and then develop the character by answering the questions below. Use your imagination. Be sure to answer each question with 1 to 2 sentences. So you might even answer with 1 or 2, 3 words, which is fine for one question, but try to make it as detailed as possible. Okay, so I'm going to put these questions into the group chat as well as the instructions. Okay. So for example, what does your character look like? If you're talking about the appearance, you can just say brown hair, comma, blue eyes, comma, maybe what height is the person? Maybe the person's very short, so you say, oh, this person is only 130 centimeters, or maybe 3 feet and 11 inches. So you can write down their appearances like that. And then for some answers or some questions, you might write longer answers, such as, what is your character's family like for number 6? So you might say something like, this character's family is very kind and supporting. They are always able to lend a hand to help out this character. For example, they might support the character by giving the character a place to live and sleep, as well as providing food to the character and home cooked meals. So this is an example of what you might answer for number 6. Okay, so I'll give everyone some time to think of their answers and to answer it. So I'll give everyone 5 minutes. One more minute, everyone. So start wrapping up your sentences, finishing up your answers, and thank you, Brady, for sending in your answer. All right, so start wrapping up your answers and sending them in. So of course, it's okay if they're not full sentences, just getting them straight to the point is good for these questions here. For example, like looking at Brady's answer, where he says specifically brown hair with blue eyes, and also mentions the names and plays video games. So you can just go straight to the point. No need to make them into proper sentences. We'll be doing proper sentences for our final answers or final storytelling using these answers. So everyone, if you have your answers ready, you can send them in to me and share them with me in the group chat. But for now, since we are nearing the end of class, I'm going to go to the homework portion. So we're going to take the answers that we just answered for the character development over here, and then we're going to, oh, not the idiom, but rather the homework. So the homework is over here. We're going to answer this writing assignment. Using the answers that you gave for the writing activity that we just did, we're going to create a story answering this prompt. So the prompt here is the confused chameleon who's always changing to the wrong colors wants to fit in with the other chameleons and finds a solution to his problem. What will the solution be? So it is up to you to create the solution and also to explain the solution in your storytelling. So if you don't know what a chameleon looks like, I will show you what a chameleon look like so that you have a point of reference when imagining or creating this story. So chameleons here, they're usually green colored and they eat bugs and insects and they catch their prey by sticking out their tongue really fast and then sucking them in like a frog. And so they change colors depending on their environment or background. So sometimes they change maybe brown to match with the branch here, or maybe they change multicolor to match with the flowers. But I will copy this image first and put this into the slide here for you to have as a point of reference as to what a chameleon is. All right, so now that we are at the end of class now, if you all have your answers done and ready, you can just quickly submit them in. So Serena, thank you for sending in your answers. Just make sure that you compile it together and use your answers to create a story for the writing assignment here. Okay, so again, submit your answer onto the forum on Dr. Joe Academy, and this time, make sure to include very detailed sentences. So describe the solution. If the solution is, oh, he ended up moving away to a different forest or a different area to create his new home, you can describe how did he move? How did he get to this new location? And how exactly is this new location different from the old location? So make sure to answer as much details as well as examples as possible in your storytelling. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here and I'll let you all go on with the rest of your day, everyone. And of course, enjoy the weekend. So I'll see you all next week or perhaps some later time, but make sure to have your answers ready. Okay, bye everyone. I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Of course,
Bye.
if you have any questions, submit them onto the forum. Okay. Bye.